Hi, this is the last video's clips, which actually would be probably the most important videos of all the videos, because all that we have done is now down to how to make the apps, the stakeholders, and the industries comes into one. So that's the reason why we have got integrated results, opportunity, actions, and motivations together with our sales talent matrix that profiles the world of salespeople into 6 different categories. Now, the biggest concerns which I spent like the last 28 years in the sales industries, managing salespeople to the extent of doing a lot of consultancy with many sales-oriented setup. The common issues that we face today is obviously number one, data storage, data protections of confidentiality and privacies, and obviously the next one is securities. So this has always been an issue, especially when we offer the one-cut systems or iRoam of this nature to customers. The question they will always ask is that, look here, how is our database being stored? How is our database being protected and secure in this case? If this issue can be resolved, I think that's fair, because your application seems to be able to solve a lot of today's problems in the industry. Not even the biggest boys in the market has able to do it, because we have got essentially a good components of descriptive intelligence or profiling in this case that no one has able to build it into the context of emerging market where sales are built on Guanxi, sales are built on the taboos of hunters, and in this case we are able to in iRoam, we are able to integrate that sort of intelligence into one, and essentially prescribes incentive and other things for the well-being, like I say, of the salespersons and the organizations. And here, this is the other issues that we have. If we could solve this issue, that actually close up the whole gaps of why the world that is sales-oriented, specifically in Asia and so, where there's a lot of emerging market, that sales are being built on the ground of rapports and so on, or hardcore selling in this case, using iRoam, if we can solve the problems of storage, protections, and security. So what we do is that we build it on technology 4.0 called the blockchain in this case. Now we're going to mount the whole data protection, storage, and security on the blockchain technologies. Now, blockchain technology has seen amazing revolutions in our industry. You'll probably be able to create the next wave of technologies that changes and disrupt living and lifestyles on how business are being done. Here, we are going to introduce blockchain to iRoam. And what we do here is that the other amazing capabilities of blockchain is the tokenized economies. So what we do with this is this. As you remember earlier in the videos, we introduced the concepts of ROMI systems, or ROMI credits in this case. So what we're going to do is that we're going to tie this whole ROMI credits into a token, of which the token will be also form part of the blockchain ecosystems. Now here I want to, so what the impressions I'm going to give you right now is this, that what it does is that company in this case uses token to use this as an incentive subjects or media, so that this token or incentive would then be paired up with ROMI credits, so that the salespeople will be able to get the incentive altogether. So what it really means is this, that the token will essentially becomes a utility coins, which that's exactly what I'm going to introduce to you in the last video. So this particular so what we meant that when we were able to put use blockchain technology, add on the data protection, securities, and storage, and tokenize Romi credit. We wanted to introduce our business model called VOS CAP. So what it means is this, that we are going to introduce a tokens called VOS CAP, and what it does is that this whole VOS CAP will essentially be a business that focuses nothing but a blockchain that secure data and create a tokens for Romi credits, so that all the business community that uses iRoam would be incentivized, not just because of the blockchain, and with another investment asset called the VOS coin in this case. Now here, which will give a lot of incentive, because you know what we're going to do is that through this process we would have ICO the token in this case, and with the funding that we have, we're going to disrupt the biggest boys in the market. And what it does is this, it's just common sense, as you can take a step backward and says, look here, all the money that are being raised, what we're going to do is to keep the application and the technology as accessible as possible, as creative as possible, and as in the lowest cost as possible. Because many of these apps has been so expensive and sometimes irrelevant, but here is that we are able to use blockchain as a functions to adoptions and usage, besides solving the problems of data protections and storage and security. So what we then do is that we're going to set this whole setup called VOS CAP, and you can find us at voscap.io. Now what differentiates us, I want to reinforce it, is first, in order for a coin on an ICO to be very successful, they must be able to qualify three very basic criteria. One is that they must have a disruptive business model. It must have a business model that has been working and there's a need in the market that able to solve today's problems and in the next few years' problem, particularly to drive results and productivities. Here in VOS CAP, what we're going to have is a business model that builds everything on blockchain. In our business in iRoam, it gives you all the sales artificial intelligence needed to drive results. And of course, with this whole ideas is that we have got the tools that will be able to keep the salespersons going and stay motivated. So what we are trying to do is to solve the most important and critical issues of today's businesses, is to ensure that the salespeople or the customer engagement specialists are able to do a good job with iRoam. And this particular business model has always been issues in our industries. And we have just developed on blockchain one of the most accessible and simple and fun to use applications called iRoam. Now, here, of course, in order to be able to make this whole ecosystem work, as we will launch VOS CAP into the market or into a public exchange, we wanted to ensure that there's a utility values in these coins. So what we have is this, that we comes out with two very important utility classes of services. One is that these services, you never undermine iRoam, because iRoam will lead to other services. Services of what? Voices of Sales is a learning management systems, of which we will help businesses to be able to train their people, to be able to measure and to prescribe good training online and accessible to our customers. The second part of it is that we obviously will jump into training, consulting, business. The third part of it is that we all know that because we have got a profiling tools and the world are searching for good salespersons that aligns to their business DNA, we would also be able to provide services on recruitment and selections. And this is an excellent tool. We sometimes call it the sales linking of the ecosystems in the world. And of course, the fourth one is that we're going to also be able to offer license and franchise to respective countries. And it is now, we have got already partners in Vietnam, we have partners in Malaysia, and Singapore are running very immensely in our business model now. And we hope to be able to expose the world stage where more and more passionate salesperson training companies that wanted to help to improve the performance of the sales force to come into this part of the business and services. And of course, utility tokens will serve a big part of these services that we provide after using or in the process of using iRoom. Now, we have also innovatively created another ideas that probably is out of the world. So what we do is that we're going to create a gamification strategy so that the sales persons will have fun in learning the system. We call this the proof of work. So what we mean, what we're going to introduce during the periods of learning, and obviously tools like this needed to be adopted and used, we wanted to actually get these whole salespersons to use the apps and finish up the loops many times. And each time when they finish up, they have a certain points reward system. We're gonna reward them with our tokens. And this token is only when they finish up the process of iRoom, meaning to say is that they will have to conduct a self-profiling tools, match it to the industry that they are in, goes into Rome and perform the whole sales process, all right, step by step. Once they complete, we will actually reward them with the proof of work that will be our tokens in this case during a promotional period each time we go to companies, countries, and so on, or the works with partners in this case. Now we're going to come up with something really exciting, and it's just really common sense here because we're going to call this proof of stake. What it means is that you would probably appreciate that each time a company would use iRoam, company themselves has got to pick up the tokens so that they could use the tokens as an incentive to, as a roamie to the salespersons that perform the activities. So we're going to get the owners to be able to do a proof of stakes where they will use our token here and then dump it into the systems and use it as a roamie credits in this case. Now, so the next question right now is that in the systems we would also allow the buyer in this case or the purchasers of the token to be able to use it and redeposit it into our system so that they will also be rewarded with interest on a monthly basis. So the next question you're saying that, look here, how do you get the interest? Where did the money come from? So what we're going to get it from is obviously from the subscriptions and the services that we earn from the business. As a proof of stakes that they deposit back the coins to us, we are able to incentivize them with interest on a monthly basis. And that will probably be announced a bit later in this case. Now, this is really exciting, isn't it? Check it out. How many of the today's coins in the market are able to fulfill this particular business model where the aftermath of a business model are made up of nothing but revenue, consistent revenue, explosive revenues, and opportunity for the business communities in this case. Now here, Voscat would be able to offer a unique utility values in the coins. And last but obviously not the least is public interest. Now we all know that we want to make Voscat an investment asset to start with. we wanted to make sure that when these assets go right into the public exchange, or one of the best public exchange, the whole world will be craving for it. All right, there will be huge liquidity. The price actions are exciting because we have a great business model, we have got a great utility, we have got a great intra and inner communities that to be able to support this. And it is now, there are so many of this business friends that we all have, the inner communities that were endorsing this whole concepts that the world needs apps like this to help to get salespeople into actions and get the results. Now we want it to be a great investment assets. And one of the other things that's really so exciting is this, that we use this concept called intra-community or the influencer network. Our business is on a sales force. Our business is with the entrepreneur. Our business is with companies, SME that wanted to become MNCs. All right, our business is all about the business communities. All right, very B2B, isn't it? So we're going to disrupt the market here because we know that with influencer like these people that comes into the picture, they will be able to lure more people into the business or into the communities or into the world communities of Bosscat, and eventually create a huge public interest where every cents that they invest into the tokens eventually becomes the coins, would be able to form a strong capital investments for you that link to your business, and it makes a lot of sense. The whole world will only be a better place if you can improve business productivity, help your salesmen to be more effective, and essentially have a tokenized assets to be able to form part of your investments and drive the productivity, and this whole ecosystems will then be a very powerful systems that I feel that will disrupt the world of Salesforce automations, but with iRoam, the sales intelligence.